The morning sun shone through the large windows of City Coffee Shop. The place was busy. People stood in a long line waiting to get their coffee before work. The shop was noisy with talk and the sound of coffee machines. Karen Miller walked into the coffee shop at 8:30. She wore a clean white blouse and black pants. Her blonde hair was cut short and neat. She carried a large brown bag and kept looking at her watch. Karen had an important meeting at 9:15. She needed to get her coffee fast. The line was very long. Karen sighed loudly and joined the end of the line. She tapped her foot on the floor. She looked at her watch again and again. The people in front moved slowly. Karen felt more and more angry as time passed. After 10 minutes, Karen was still not at the front. She started to look at her phone and type fast messages. She sent a text to her boss saying she might be a little late. Her boss sent back a message saying the meeting was very important. Karen felt sweat on her forehead. She could not be late today. The coffee shop had only 2 workers today. One was a young boy with red hair. He looked new and moved slowly. The other was a girl with dark hair who kept making mistakes with orders. People in line were getting upset. Some left without their coffee. Karen finally got to the front of the line after 15 more minutes. By now she was very angry. Her face was red, and she gripped her purse tightly. The red-haired boy smiled at her. "Good morning. What can I get for you today?" he asked in a happy voice. "Large coffee with almond milk. And be quick about it." "I have been waiting forever," Karen said in a sharp voice. The boy nodded and went to make her drink. Karen watched him closely. She saw him reach for the milk and pour it in her cup. After a minute, he handed her the large cup with a lid. "That will be $4.50, please," he said. Karen paid with her card and took the coffee. She took a small sip and made a face. The coffee tasted wrong. She removed the lid and looked inside. The coffee was light brown, not the tan color it should be with almond milk. "Hey, this is not almond milk. This is regular milk," she said loudly. The boy looked surprised. "I am sorry. I thought I used almond milk." "Well, you did not. And now I do not have time for you to make a new one. I have been in this place for almost 30 minutes. I will be late for my meeting," Karen said. The coffee shop was still full of people. Many were looking at Karen now. Some rolled their eyes. They had all been waiting too. "I can make you a new one very fast," the boy said. "No, just give me my money back," Karen said. The boy called the girl with dark hair. She came over and spoke to Karen. "I am very sorry about this mistake. We can give you a new coffee and a free cookie for next time," she said. Karen shook her head. She was too angry to accept this. "I do not want a free anything. I want my money back. Now." The girl nodded and opened the cash register. She handed Karen $4.50. Karen put the money in her purse. She still held the wrong coffee in her hand. She was so angry she did not know what to do with it. At that moment, the door opened. A young black girl walked in. She wore blue jeans and a yellow top. She had headphones on and was looking at her phone. She did not see that Karen was standing there upset. Karen moved away from the counter with her unwanted coffee. The shop was crowded. People were all around trying to get to the counter or find seats. Karen looked at her watch again. It was now 5 minutes to 9. She would be late for her meeting. The young black girl named Jasmine walked to the end of the line. She did not notice that everyone was looking at Karen. Jasmine was listening to music through her headphones. The music was loud. She did not hear the talk around her. Karen stood near the pickup counter. She was still very angry about her coffee. She looked at the cup in her hand. The coffee inside was not what she wanted. She had paid for almond milk. Her morning was going bad, and now she would be late for her meeting. Jasmine moved up in the line. She was in a good mood today. She had done well on a test at school. Now she wanted to buy a sweet coffee drink to feel happy. She moved her head to the music and smiled a little. 2 police officers sat at a table in the back corner of the coffee shop. One was Officer Tom Blake. He was tall with short brown hair. He wore a blue police uniform. The other was Officer Maria Lopes. She had dark hair tied back. They both drank coffee and talked quietly. They watched the people in the shop but did not notice anything wrong yet. Karen tried to call her boss. She wanted to say she would be late. Her phone showed no signal. This made her even more angry. She walked toward the door to get better signal. As she moved, she bumped into a man carrying a full cup. Some coffee spilled on her white blouse. "Look what you did," Karen shouted at the man. The man looked sorry. "I did not see you coming. I am sorry about your shirt." Karen looked down at her white blouse. Now it had an ugly brown spot on it. This made her face turn red with anger. She grabbed napkins from a table and tried to clean it. The stain did not come out. "This is just great. First my coffee is wrong. Now my shirt is dirty. And I will be late for my meeting," Karen said in a loud voice. People turned to look at her. Some moved away. They did not want to be near an angry person. The two police officers looked up from their table. They watched Karen but did not stand up yet. Jasmine reached the front of the line. She took off her headphones and hung them around her neck. She smiled at the red-haired boy. "Hi, can I get a caramel latte with extra caramel, please?" Jasmine asked in a nice voice. The boy smiled back and nodded. "Sure thing. That will be $5. Jasmine paid and then moved to the side to wait. She stood near where Karen was still trying to clean her blouse. Jasmine did not know about the angry woman. She was looking at her phone and texting a friend about meeting later. Karen gave up trying to clean her shirt. The stain was still there. She looked at her watch and saw she was now 10 minutes late for her meeting. She felt like the whole world was against her today. She held the coffee cup with regular milk tightly in her hand. The red-haired boy called out, "Caramel latte for Jasmine." Jasmine looked up from her phone. She walked forward to get her drink. The counter was close to where Karen stood. As Jasmine reached for her cup, her arm accidentally hit Karen's elbow. This made Karen's unwanted coffee spill a little on her hand. Karen turned quickly toward Jasmine. Her eyes were wide with anger. This was too much for her to handle now. First the wrong milk, then the stain on her blouse, and now more coffee on her hand. "Watch where you are going," Karen said in a mean voice. Jasmine looked surprised. She had not meant to hit Karen. "I am sorry. I did not see you there." Karen did not accept the apology. She was too upset now. The two police officers noticed the loud voice. They watched more closely but still sat at their table. "You should pay attention to what you are doing," Karen said. Her voice got even louder. People in the coffee shop started to watch them. The workers behind the counter looked worried. Something bad was about to happen. Jasmine stepped back from Karen. She could see the woman was very angry. Jasmine tried to stay calm. "I said I am sorry. It was just an accident," Jasmine said in a quiet voice. Karen looked Jasmine up and down. Her anger made her see everything as worse than it was. She did not like that this young girl seemed so calm when her own day was so bad. "Sorry is not good enough. Look at my blouse. Look at my hand. This is all because people like you do not pay attention," Karen said. The words, "people like you," made Jasmine feel cold inside. She had heard words like that before. They were never good words. She took another step back and held her caramel latte close. "What do you mean, people like me?" Jasmine asked. Her voice was still quiet, but now had a small shake in it. Karen waved her hand in the air. "Young people, always on your phones, always with your music, never looking where you are going." Some people in the coffee shop relaxed a little. Maybe Karen just meant young people. Others were not so sure. The coffee shop got very quiet. Everyone was watching now. Officer Lopes said something to Officer Blake. They both watched closely but did not get up yet. They wanted to see if the women would calm down without police help. "I already said sorry. I do not know what else you want from me," Jasmine said. She wanted to just walk away and drink her coffee somewhere else. Karen was not ready to let it go. She was having a bad day. Now she wanted someone else to feel bad too. She held up her coffee cup with the wrong milk. "This is what I want. I want you to be more careful. I want to not have coffee spilled on me. I want to not be late for my meeting. I want to have the right coffee," Karen said. Each word got louder than the one before. The red-haired boy behind the counter looked worried. He called to his manager, who was in the back room. The manager was a middle-aged man named Robert. He walked out and saw the problem. "Is everything okay here?" Robert asked as he came closer to Karen and Jasmine. "No, everything is not okay," Karen said. "First, your worker gave me the wrong milk. Then this girl bumped into me and made me spill more coffee." Robert nodded and tried to look understanding. "I am very sorry about that. How about a free coffee for next time? And we can get you some more napkins for your blouse." Karen did not want to hear this. She was too angry now. "I do not want free coffee. I want people to do their jobs right. I want young people to look where they are going." Jasmine felt her face get hot. It was not right to be talked to this way over a small accident. She had said sorry many times. "Look, lady, I said I was sorry. It was an accident. You need to calm down," Jasmine said. Her voice was a little stronger now. This made Karen even more angry. "Do not tell me to calm down. You have no idea what my day has been like." Jasmine shook her head. "We all have bad days. That does not mean you can be mean to people." The two police officers now stood up but stayed by their table. They could see this might turn into a bigger problem. Karen felt like Jasmine was talking down to her. In her anger, she did not think about what might happen next. She did not notice the police officers. She did not think about right or wrong. She just felt rage. "You want to see mean?" Karen asked in a very loud voice. Before anyone could stop her, Karen lifted her coffee cup high. In one fast movement, she threw the coffee straight at Jasmine. The hot liquid flew through the air toward the young girl. Time seemed to slow down. People in the shop gasped. The manager, Robert, reached out, but was too far away. Jasmine saw the coffee coming, but could not move fast enough. The hot coffee hit Jasmine in the face and chest. It soaked into her yellow top. Some splashed onto her neck. The cup fell to the floor with a small sound. Jasmine cried out in pain. The coffee was not very hot anymore, but it was still warm. It soaked her yellow top and made her skin feel like it was burning. She dropped her own caramel latte, which fell to the floor and made a puddle. The entire coffee shop went quiet for 1 second. Then everyone started talking at once. People stood up. Some took out their phones to record what was happening. Others moved away to avoid getting involved. Karen stood still. The anger left her face as she saw what she had done. For the first time that morning, she looked afraid. She had not planned to throw the coffee. Her anger had taken control of her actions. "I did not mean to do that," Karen said in a small voice. But it was too late. The damage was done. Officer Blake and Officer Lopes moved quickly across the room. They pushed through the crowd of people. Within seconds, they were standing next to Karen and Jasmine. "Police, everyone stay calm," Officer Blake said in a loud, clear voice. Officer Lopes went to Jasmine. She looked at the coffee stains on the young girl's clothes and skin. "Are you okay? Do you need medical help?" Officer Lopes asked. She took some clean napkins from a nearby table and gave them to Jasmine. Jasmine wiped her face with the napkins. Her hands were shaking. She felt both pain and shock. "It is not too hot, just wet and uncomfortable," Jasmine said. But there were tears in her eyes. Officer Blake stood in front of Karen. He looked very serious. "Ma'am, I need you to step back and keep your hands where I can see them," he said to Karen. Karen seemed to notice the police officers for the first time. Her eyes went wide. "Officers, I can explain. This was all a misunderstanding," Karen said quickly. Officer Blake shook his head. "We saw what happened. You threw hot coffee at this young woman. That is assault. Karen's face turned pale. The word assault made her realize how serious this was. She had never been in trouble with police before. It was not hot. It was barely warm, Karen tried to explain. That does not matter. You threw liquid at another person on purpose. That is against the law, Officer Blake said. The manager, Robert, brought more napkins and a clean towel for Jasmine. He also brought a plastic bag for her wet phone. Jasmine's phone had gotten wet from the coffee and might be broken now. I am so sorry this happened in our shop, Robert said to Jasmine. Your drinks are free from now on. Officer Lopes was writing notes in a small notebook. She looked at Karen. I need to see your ID, please, she said. Karen reached into her purse with shaking hands. She took out her wallet and showed her driver license to Officer Lopes. Karen Wilson, age 42. Officer Lopes read from the license. She wrote this information in her notebook. Other customers in the shop were still watching. Some were talking about what they had seen. A woman came over to Jasmine. I saw everything. I will be a witness if you need one, the woman said. Officer Blake asked all the people in the shop to give them some space. He moved Karen to a corner table so he could talk to her away from everyone else. Jasmine sat down at another table. Her yellow top was ruined with brown coffee stains. Her neck and part of her face were red from where the coffee had hit her. Officer Lopes sat across from Jasmine. Can you tell me what happened before the coffee was thrown? Jasmine told the officer about accidentally bumping into Karen and how Karen had gotten angry. She explained that she had said sorry many times. Robert, the manager, brought Jasmine a cup of cold water. He also brought a clean shirt from the lost and found box. You can change in our bathroom if you want, he told her. Out in the main area of the coffee shop, people were still talking about what they had seen. Everyone had a different view of the events. Some felt sorry for Jasmine. Others wondered if Karen had mental health problems. No one thought Karen was right to throw the coffee. Officer Blake was still talking to Karen in the corner. Karen looked like she might cry now. She kept saying she was sorry and that she had never done anything like this before. Officer Blake took Karen outside the coffee shop. They stood near the police car parked on the street. Karen looked at her watch. Her meeting had started 30 minutes ago. She knew she would not make it now. Mrs. Wilson, I need to explain what happens next, Officer Blake said. Throwing coffee at someone is a form of assault. That is a crime. Karen felt her stomach drop. A crime. She had never been arrested before. She had a good job and a clean record. Now all that might change because of one angry moment. Is she going to press charges? Karen asked. Her voice was shaking now. Officer Blake looked serious. That is up to her. But you should know that even if she does not press charges, we saw what happened. We can still charge you. Karen felt tears in her eyes. I know I was wrong. I was having a terrible morning. I got the wrong coffee and was late for an important meeting. But that is no excuse. I should not have thrown the coffee. Inside the coffee shop, Jasmine had gone to the bathroom to change her shirt. The loaner shirt from the lost and found box was too big, but at least it was clean and dry. Her own yellow top was ruined. She put it in a plastic bag. When Jasmine came back, Officer Lopes was waiting to talk more with her. She had a form ready for Jasmine to fill out. Do you want to press charges against Mrs. Wilson? Officer Lopes asked. Jasmine thought about it. She felt angry about what happened. Her skin still felt warm where the coffee had hit her. Her phone might be broken and her favorite top was ruined. But she also did not want to spend time going to court. What would happen to her if I pressed charges? Jasmine asked. Officer Lopes explained. She would be arrested today. Then she would have to go to court. She might get a fine or community service. She has no past record, so she likely would not go to jail. Jasmine nodded. She was still thinking about what to do. Robert, the manager, came over again. The shop will pay for any cleaning or replacement of your clothes, he told Jasmine. We are very sorry this happened here. Outside, Karen was still talking with Officer Blake. I want to apologize to her, Karen said. I feel terrible about what I did. Officer Blake considered this. We can ask if she is willing to talk to you, but she does not have to. Karen nodded. She looked down at her feet. The anger that had filled her all morning was gone now. In its place was shame and worry. Officer Blake went back inside to talk with his partner and Jasmine. The coffee shop was getting back to normal. Some customers had left, but new ones were coming in. The red-haired boy was making coffee again. Only the corner where Jasmine sat with Officer Lopes was still part of the earlier scene. Officer Blake spoke quietly with Officer Lopes. Then he looked at Jasmine. Mrs. Wilson would like to apologize to you in person. You do not have to speak with her if you do not want to, he said. Jasmine thought about it. She was not sure she wanted to talk to the woman who had thrown coffee at her, but part of her was curious about what Karen would say. She can come in and talk to me, Jasmine decided. But I want you both to stay here with us. Officer Blake went back outside to get Karen. Karen walked back into the coffee shop slowly. She looked very different from the angry woman who had been there before. Her head was down, and her shoulders were slumped. Her white blouse still had the coffee stain on it. The coffee shop got quiet again as Karen walked in. Everyone watched as she approached the table where Jasmine was sitting. Karen stood a few feet away from the table. The two police officers stood nearby watching carefully. Karen looked at Jasmine sitting at the table. The young girl was now wearing a plain blue shirt that was too big for her. The shirt from the Lost and Found box made Jasmine look even younger than she was. I am very sorry for what I did, Karen said in a quiet voice. There is no excuse for throwing coffee at you. I was having a bad morning, but that does not make it okay. I was wrong. Jasmine looked at Karen for a long moment. She could see that the woman seemed truly sorry now. The anger was gone from her face. Do you know how that made me feel? Jasmine asked. To have someone throw coffee at me in public. To have everyone watching. To have my clothes ruined. Karen nodded. Her eyes were wet with tears that had not fallen yet. I can imagine it felt terrible. Scary and embarrassing and painful. I am so sorry I did that to you, Karen said. Officer Lopes watched both women closely. She had her notebook ready to write down anything important they said. Why did you get so angry at such a small thing? Jasmine asked. I bumped you by accident. I said sorry right away. Karen shook her head. It was not really about you. I was already angry about other things. The wrong coffee. Being late. A stain on my blouse. I took all that anger out on you when you bumped me. It was unfair and wrong. Jasmine thought about this. She had days when small problems added up and made her feel very frustrated too. But she had never thrown anything at anyone. The police said I can press charges against you, Jasmine said. They said that throwing coffee is assault. Karen looked scared at these words. She glanced at Officer Blake, who stood nearby with a serious face. Yes, that is what they told me too, Karen said. I understand if you want to press charges. What I did was wrong. The coffee shop was still quieter than normal. Some people were trying not to stare at the two women talking. Others were openly watching to see what would happen next. My phone got wet from the coffee, Jasmine said. It might be broken now. And my favorite top is ruined. Karen reached for her purse. I want to pay for your phone and your clothes. Please let me do that at least. Officer Lopes stepped forward. Mrs. Wilson, please keep your hands where we can see them, she said in a firm voice. Karen moved her hands away from her purse. Sorry, I just wanted to offer to pay for the damages. Jasmine looked at Karen for a long time. She was still upset about what happened, but she could see that Karen was truly sorry now. The angry woman from before was gone. I need to think about pressing charges, Jasmine said. But I will accept your offer to pay for my phone and top if they are damaged. Karen nodded quickly. Of course. Anything you need. She seemed relieved that Jasmine was at least talking to her. Officer Blake spoke up. Miss Taylor, we need your decision about charges soon. We can give you a little time to think, but we need to know today. Jasmine nodded. She understood they needed an answer. She looked at Karen again. The woman seemed very different now, small and sad instead of big and angry. "Can I ask you something?" Jasmine said to Karen. "Yes, anything," Karen replied. "When you said people like you did not pay attention, what did you mean by that?" Jasmine asked. The coffee shop got very quiet. Everyone knew this was an important question. Officer Lopes watched Karen closely, waiting for her answer. Karen looked surprised. "I meant young people, always on their phones, not looking where they are going. I did not mean anything else." Jasmine watched Karen's face carefully. She was trying to decide if Karen was telling the truth or just saying what people wanted to hear now that she was in trouble. "Are you sure?" Jasmine asked, "because it sounded like you meant something else." Karen shook her head. "I was angry and said things badly. I am 42 years old. I get frustrated with young people and technology sometimes, but I would never judge someone by their race. Never." Officer Blake watched both women. This was a tense moment. He knew that what Karen said next could change how everyone saw this situation. Karen looked directly at Jasmine. "I truly did not mean anything racial by my words. I was upset and spoke badly. But I understand why you would think that. And I am sorry for making you feel that way." Jasmine thought about this answer. She had heard comments like "people like you" many times before. Sometimes people meant young people. Sometimes they meant something else. It was hard to know for sure what was in someone else's heart. "I want to believe you," Jasmine said. Officer Lopes wrote in her notebook. She was recording everything both women said. This could be important later if the case went to court. Robert, the manager, came back to the table. "Miss Taylor, I have spoken with the owner of this coffee shop. We want to offer you a gift card for free coffee for 1 year. And we will pay for any damage to your phone or clothes." Jasmine thanked the manager, but she was still thinking about what to do about Karen. She looked at the police officers. "If I press charges, what exactly will happen to her today?" Jasmine asked. Officer Blake explained. "We would arrest Mrs. Wilson, take her to the police station. She would have a mug shot and fingerprints taken. Then she would see a judge who would set bail. She would likely be released today if she paid the bail money." Karen looked down at her hands. She seemed afraid of this possibility. Her day had started with just being late for a meeting. Now she might be arrested and have a criminal record. "And if I do not press charges?" Jasmine asked. "We could still charge her because we saw what happened," Officer Lopes said. "But we would take your wishes into account. We might just give her a ticket for disturbing the peace. That would mean a fine but no arrest today." Jasmine nodded. She understood her choices now. She looked at Karen again. "I think you had a really bad morning, and you did a really bad thing. But I do not think you are a bad person," Jasmine said slowly. Karen looked up. There was hope in her eyes for the first time. "Thank you," Karen whispered. Jasmine made her decision. She turned to the police officers. "I do not want to press charges for assault. I will accept her paying for the damages, and I want her to know that what she did was very wrong." Officer Blake nodded. "Are you sure? You have the right to press charges. What she did was assault." Jasmine was sure. "Yes, I think she learned her lesson without going to jail. Sometimes people have bad days and make big mistakes." Karen had tears running down her face now. "Thank you. I promise I will never do anything like this again. And I will pay for everything. Your phone, your clothes, anything you need." Officer Lopes closed her notebook. "Mrs. Wilson, we will not arrest you today. But you will still get a ticket for disturbing the peace. That means a fine of $200. And you will need to go to court next month." Karen nodded quickly. She would accept the ticket. It was much better than being arrested. "I understand. Thank you," she said to the officer. Then she looked at Jasmine. "And thank you. You did not have to be so kind after what I did." Jasmine shrugged. Everyone deserves a second chance when they are truly sorry. Officer Blake told Karen to wait outside by the police car. They would bring her the ticket to sign in a few minutes. Karen walked outside looking very relieved. "Are you sure about this?" Officer Lopes asked Jasmine one more time. "We can still press charges if you change your mind." Jasmine was sure. "Yes, I just want to move on from this. I can replace a phone and a shirt. I would feel bad if she went to jail because she had a bad morning and lost her temper." Officer Blake went outside to write the ticket for Karen. Officer Lopes stayed with Jasmine a little longer to get her contact information. They might need to talk to her again if anything changed with the case. The coffee shop slowly returned to normal. People stopped watching and went back to their conversations. The red-haired boy made more coffee. Robert, the manager, went back to his office. Just another day of the coffee shop, except for Jasmine and Karen, whose lives had briefly crashed together in a moment of anger. 1 week had passed since the coffee shop incident. Jasmine sat in her small apartment looking at her new phone. Karen had sent money right away to pay for it. The new phone was even better than her old one. Karen had also sent extra money for the ruined yellow top and for any other damages. Jasmine opened her email and saw a new message from Karen Wilson. This was the third email Karen had sent since the incident. The first email came with the money transfer. The second one asked how Jasmine was doing. Now there was a third. Jasmine clicked to open it. The email was short. "Dear Jasmine, I hope you are doing well. I am still very sorry about what happened. I wanted to let you know that I have started taking anger management classes. They are helping me learn to control my emotions better. Thank you again for your kindness that day. Karen." Jasmine read the email twice. She was surprised that Karen was taking classes. It seemed like she was really trying to change. Jasmine had not replied to the earlier emails, but now she decided to answer. "Hello, Karen. Thank you for the update. I am glad you are taking classes. That shows real commitment to change. My new phone works great, and I found a similar top to replace my yellow one. I hope things are going better for you now. Jasmine." Across town, Karen sat at her desk at work. The past week had been difficult. She had missed her important meeting that day. Her boss was not happy about it. Karen had to explain what happened without making excuses for her behavior. She had paid the $200 fine for the ticket. She was due in court in 3 weeks. Her lawyer said she would likely get community service hours. Karen was prepared to accept whatever the judge decided. The anger management classes were actually helping her. The teacher talked about how to recognize when anger was building up, how to take a step back and breathe, how to think before acting. Karen wished she had learned these skills before the incident at the coffee shop. Her coworker James stopped by her desk. "How are you doing today, Karen?" he asked. Karen gave a small smile. "Better. Taking it one day at a time." James nodded. He had heard about what happened from other coworkers. Karen had been honest about the incident with her close colleagues. She did not try to hide what she had done or make excuses. "The team meeting is in 10 minutes, James reminded her. "Thanks. I will be there," Karen said. She turned back to her computer and saw a new email had arrived. It was from Jasmine. Karen was surprised. She had not expected a reply. Karen read the email and felt a wave of relief. Jasmine did not hate her. The young woman had accepted her apology and even seemed to respect that Karen was trying to change. It meant a lot to Karen that Jasmine had taken the time to reply. At the city coffee shop, business continued as usual. The red-haired boy named Trent had gotten better at making the drinks. Fewer mistakes happened now. Robert, the manager, had talked to all the staff about how to handle angry customers. They had a new policy about calling him immediately if someone got too upset. Jasmine had not been back to that coffee shop yet. She got her coffee at a different place near her college, but she still had the gift card for a year of free drinks. Maybe someday she would use it, but not yet. The memory of the hot coffee hitting her face was still too fresh. Officer Lopes and Officer Blake stopped by the city coffee shop for their morning break. They sat at the same corner table as before. The staff knew them now and brought their usual orders without asking. "Remember that coffee-throwing lady from last week?" Officer Blake asked his partner. Officer Lopes nodded. Karen Wilson. She has court in a few weeks. Judge Williams will probably give her community service. That young girl was pretty forgiving, Officer Blake said. Most people would have pressed charges. Officer Lopes agreed. Jasmine Taylor. She showed a lot of maturity. I hope Mrs. Wilson appreciates the second chance she got. Karen did appreciate it. As she sat in her anger management class that evening, she thought about how differently things could have gone. If Jasmine had pressed charges, Karen might have lost her job. She might have a much more serious mark on her record. The incident could have ruined her life in many ways. Today we will talk about making amends, the teacher said to the class. When we hurt someone with our anger, we need to try to make it right. Karen listened carefully. She had sent money to Jasmine. She had apologized many times. But was there more she could do? She wanted to truly make amends, not just say sorry and move on. 3 weeks later, Jasmine walked into the city coffee shop. She had finally decided to use her gift card. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon, and the shop was not very busy. Trent, the red-haired boy, was behind the counter. He recognized Jasmine right away. "Hey, you came back," he said with a smile. "What can I get for you today?" Jasmine showed her gift card. "A caramel latte, please. Extra caramel." Trent nodded and took the card. As he made the drink, he kept looking at Jasmine. Finally, he spoke again. "You know that lady never came back here either. The one who threw the coffee." Jasmine was not surprised. "I guess this place does not have good memories for her." Trent finished making the drink and handed it to Jasmine. "Robert said to give you extra caramel any time you come in. On the house." Jasmine thanked him and found a quiet table by the window. She had a textbook with her and planned to study for an hour. The rain made soft sounds on the window. It was peaceful in the coffee shop today. Karen stood in front of Judge Williams in the small courtroom. Her lawyer stood beside her. She had pleaded guilty to disturbing the peace. Now the judge would decide her punishment. "Mrs. Wilson, have you learned anything from this incident?" Judge Williams asked. Karen stood up straight and looked directly at the judge. "Yes, Your Honor. I have learned that I need to control my anger better. I have been taking anger management classes for the past month. I have also learned that my actions affect other people in serious ways." The judge nodded. He looked down at the papers in front of him. "I see that Miss Taylor did not want to press assault charges. That was generous of her." "Yes, it was," Karen agreed. "I did not deserve her kindness that day." Judge Williams made his decision. "Mrs. Wilson, I sentence you to 80 hours of community service. You will also write a formal letter of apology to Miss Taylor, and you will continue your anger management classes for 3 more months." Karen accepted the sentence without complaint. 80 hours was a lot of time, but she knew it could have been worse. She would be cleaning up parks and helping at the community center for the next few months. It seemed fair for what she had done. As Karen left the courthouse, she saw Officer Lopes walking in. The officer recognized Karen and stopped to talk to her. "How did it go in there?" Officer Lopes asked. 80 hours of community service, and I have to keep taking the anger management classes," Karen said. Officer Lopes nodded. "That sounds fair. Have you been in contact with Miss Taylor?" Karen explained about the emails they had exchanged. "I want to do something more to make it right, but I am not sure what would be appropriate." Officer Lopes thought for a moment. "Sometimes the best thing is to learn from what happened and be a better person going forward. That might be the best way to honor her forgiveness." Later that week, Karen started her community service hours at the city park. She picked up trash and painted over graffiti on the benches. The work was not fun, but it gave her time to think. One of the other people doing community service was a young man named Marcus. He asked Karen why she was there. "I threw coffee at someone in a coffee shop," Karen admitted. "I was having a bad day, and I took it out on an innocent person." Marcus did not laugh or judge her. "We all make mistakes. I got caught spraying graffiti on the school. Not my proudest moment either." They worked together for a few hours. Karen found that the physical work actually helped her feel better. By the end of the day, she was tired but somehow lighter inside. At the community center where Karen did some of her service hours, there was a sign for a conflict resolution class. The class taught young people how to solve problems without fighting. Karen signed up to help with the class after her community service hours were done. 2 months later, Jasmine was studying in the city coffee shop again. She had become a regular customer, using her gift card often. She liked the quiet corner table by the window. Trent always gave her extra caramel in her latte. The door opened and Jasmine looked up from her book. Karen Wilson walked into the coffee shop. She looked different somehow, calmer. She wore a blue blouse and carried a small bag. She did not notice Jasmine at first. Trent recognized Karen right away. He looked nervous to see her. Karen walked up to the counter slowly. "Can I get a small coffee with almond milk, please?" she asked in a polite voice. Trent nodded and turned to make the drink. Karen waited patiently. She did not tap her foot or check her watch. When Trent handed her the coffee, she thanked him and paid without complaint. As Karen turned to find a seat, she saw Jasmine. They looked at each other across the coffee shop. For a moment, neither one moved. Then Karen took a deep breath and walked over to Jasmine's table. "Hello, Jasmine," Karen said. "Is it okay if I talk to you for a minute?" Jasmine nodded. Karen sat down across from her. They were back in the same coffee shop where it all began, but they were different people now. "I finished my community service hours last week," Karen said, "and I am still taking the anger management classes." "That is good," Jasmine said. She closed her textbook. Karen took a small wrapped package from her bag. "I wanted to give you this, to say thank you for your forgiveness that day. It changed my life in many ways." Jasmine took the package and opened it carefully. Inside was a beautiful bookmark with a quote about kindness. It was simple but thoughtful. "Thank you," Jasmine said with a small smile. "I also wanted you to know that I am helping with conflict resolution classes now," Karen said. "I tell the students about what I did and what I learned from it. I hope that helps someone else avoid making the same mistake." Jasmine nodded. That is a good way to make something positive from what happened. The two women talked for a few more minutes. They would never be close friends, but they had a connection now. A moment of anger had brought them together, and a choice for forgiveness had changed them both.